thought I'd share with you my 5-draft writing and revision process. I don't use this for essays or poetry. It's really only for books and screenplays and like long form passion projects like Truth Weekend. So I usually use this general frame while also keeping in mind that certain stories need special methods. So after I have sold my soul and poured my heart into the first draft and have completely cut soap out of my diet, it is time to read it over and create a revision map. So what we're gonna take note of are all of the plot holes and inconsistencies, so then I can later go back and try to problem solve. Also, I take note of all of my timestamps because in my first draft, my timeline is ridiculous. And then I go and I ask myself, what is missing? What could be fleshed out? After I've marked everything up, I actually go back and write a new synopsis so I can see what's actually on the page versus what's in my head, so I can see what the gaps are and then how I can fill them in. And at this stage, I really don't get preoccupied with space and conciseness. Just lay that shit out, honestly. Right now is not the time to be worried about being nuanced. For me, the second draft is all about adding. So whatever didn't happen in the fever dream that was draft 1 needs to be implemented into draft 2. I hate editing draft 2 because it's just, there's so much information and so much word vomit and so much garbage that then when I revise it, it's time to be a gremlin and just chop down all of my hard work. After everything that I could possibly know about this story and that I could possibly know about these characters are actually on the page, it's time for me to go through and see what scenes and what pieces of dialogue I don't need anymore. So it's really about going through and asking, does this scene or this piece of dialogue move the story forward or help us know more about the characters? No? Then we need to cut it out. What Easter eggs can I hide in plain sight? It's about learning what could be shown versus what could just be mentioned versus what could be summarized. Instead of just telling the audience that she's angry, how do I show it? Maybe she punches a wall. How do I show this backstory without it being this insane info dump? I'm working on that last one. But anyway, after the second draft edit and all of that, I usually just send it to my editor, Britt, because I'm usually sick of my story by this point and I need more eyes on it. Editing draft 3 is just making it pretty, making it sound nice. It's the draft that takes me the longest and also makes me feel like I'm losing my mind. At this stage, I have to read it out loud because I have to listen for what sounds unnatural or just ugly. So at this stage, I check for conciseness and flow and tone, atmosphere, while also just line editing to find the right words to express what I mean, and also taking out fluff words that don't really add to the image. So saying, the cloud was fluffy. Well, we know clouds are fluffy, so you don't need the word fluffy. So at that point, I would find a better adjective to make the image more interesting. I also agonize over if my characters sound uniquely them, while also keeping in mind that there's still time to break it down and experiment and find cool new ways to tell this story. So now that we've implemented all of that into draft 4, it is time to sit down and do a more stylized edit, which usually goes pretty quickly for me. And now is the time where people send off their cleanest draft of their manuscript off to betas. I would go more into the beta reader process, but I've never done it because for the past 5 or so years I've had Britt by my side. But now I'm sending off my 4th draft to film professors who are kind enough to sit down with me and give me feedback and really talk out my movie with me. This draft is really good to print out. No matter how long it is, you could print it front and back or, you know, do the double-sided ones. But trust me when I say it is essential to read it this way because it does not read the same. It's so much easier to point out typos this way, especially coupled with reading it out loud, because when you read your project the way that your audience typically would, it's really easy to see which scenes are dragging or where there's a weird tonal shift or if there's an unevenness in POV. So take out your red pen of death and just murder it. Draft 5 is really just adding all of those murderous changes and reading through it one more time and making sure that I love this thing, that I am obsessed with it. If I read it over and there's still a section that catches and sounds unnatural, or there's still parts where I'm like, it could be better, then it's not done. So I really just work on it until I'm obsessed with this story. And then I'm done, and I have to put on a whole new hat and tackle the monster that is marketing and putting it out into the world. Alright guys, that's all that I have for you for my 5-draft writing process. I hope you enjoyed it and it helped and it made sense. Also make sure to check out my writing Tumblr at Erin the Writer, because I post written transcriptions of videos like this so you can just copy and paste. If you want to check out my writing, links will always be in the description. I hope that December is a marvelous time of growth and change for you. I love you lots, and I will see all of you lovely people in my next video. Bye!